After missing his entire rookie season due to injury, becoming the only first-round quarterback in history to face such a setback, J.J. McCARTHY finally took control in 2025. The Minnesota Vikings have placed their full trust in the former Michigan star, making him the centerpiece of their offensive rebuild. Yet, the early results have been anything but consistent. In the season opener, McCarthy's performance was a roller coaster. For 3 quarters, he struggled to find rhythm, looking as out of sync as a quarterback could be. Misfires, misreads, and missed opportunities defined his start. But just when it seemed like the game was lost, something changed. In the 4th quarter, McCarthy displayed the poise and resilience that made him a first-round pick, leading a stunning rally from a 17-6 deficit and orchestrating a 21-point explosion to steal the victory. That comeback showcased both the promise and unpredictability that define McCarthy's young career. It was a glimpse of his potential, the ability to stay calm under pressure and make big plays when it matters most. Yet, it also reminded everyone that consistency remains his biggest challenge. For the Vikings, this season is about more than just wins and losses. It's about discovering whether McCarthy can truly be the long-term answer at quarterback, the leader capable of carrying this franchise into a new era. For those 15 electrifying minutes, McCarthy looked every bit like the quarterback that head coach Kevin O'Connell and the Minnesota front office had envisioned when they decided to part ways with veterans like Sam Darnold and Daniel Jones during the offseason. In that brief window, he embodied the confidence, accuracy, and leadership that the organization believed could define the next chapter of Vikings football. His timing was sharp, his decision-making quick, and his command of the offense undeniable. It was the kind of performance that validated the franchise's bold decision to hand him the keys to the offense. But just as quickly as that surge of brilliance appeared, it faded. When the Vikings took the field for their next game, McCarthy reverted to the inconsistent form that had plagued him early in the season. For 3 long quarters, he struggled once again to establish rhythm, missing reads, misjudging throws, and failing to generate momentum. It was as if the player who had taken over the previous 4th quarter had vanished, replaced by a version still adjusting to the speed and complexity of the NFL game. Those contrasting performances highlighted the growing pains of a young quarterback trying to find his footing in the league. While flashes of greatness continue to emerge, McCarthy's challenge lies in sustaining that level of play, turning those brief moments of brilliance into consistent command over 4 full quarters. As it turned out, the Atlanta Falcons, the team that handed McCarthy and the Vikings a 22-6 loss in Week 2, were not just any opponent. They boasted one of the league's most disciplined and physical defenses, a unit that had already established itself among the NFL's elite. In hindsight, that defeat doesn't look quite as disastrous as it initially seemed. Still, McCarthy's performance that day left plenty of room for concern. The rookie quarterback struggled to find any sort of rhythm, completing only 11 of his 21 pass attempts for 158 yards. His inexperience showed through a series of costly mistakes. 2 interceptions that halted promising drives and 3 fumbles, one of which the Falcons recovered. The constant defensive pressure forced him into rushed decisions, exposing how much he still had to learn when facing aggressive, high-level defenses. After the game, reports surfaced that McCarthy had been playing through an ankle sprain, an injury that may have contributed to his difficulties in the pocket. With his mobility limited and his confidence shaken, head coach Kevin O'Connell made the call to hand the reins temporarily to veteran Carson Wentz. That decision reignited conversations among analysts and fans alike, including commentary from former lineman Andrew Whitworth, who questioned whether the Vikings had been too quick to move on from experienced quarterbacks like Daniel Jones and Sam Darnold during the offseason. It was a moment that underscored both the volatility and the scrutiny that come with developing a young franchise quarterback. For McCarthy, it wasn't just about recovering from injury. It was about proving that he could rebound from adversity and show the mental toughness that separates good prospects from future stars. Just think about it. Daniel Jones and Sam Darnold were both in that same building not long ago, Whitworth said with a laugh during the Fitz and Wit show. And now, look at the seasons those two are putting together. If you're in the Vikings front office right now, you've probably got that sinking, uneasy feeling in your stomach. His comments, though lighthearted, carried a sting of truth. Whitworth wasn't trying to take a jab at McCarthy personally, but rather highlight the difficult reality facing Minnesota's decision-makers. They had placed all their chips on an unproven rookie, letting two experienced quarterbacks walk, both of whom were now finding success elsewhere. That kind of contrast inevitably invites second-guessing, especially in a league where patience is short and results are everything. For the Vikings, hearing that kind of commentary from respected analysts only added to the pressure surrounding McCarthy's development. Every throw, every mistake, and every small victory would now be magnified under the bright lights of expectation. And for McCarthy, the only way to quiet the outside noise would be through performance, proving on the field that Minnesota's bold gamble on him was not a mistake, but a vision of the future slowly taking shape. Darnold had been nothing short of impressive through the first 16 games of the previous season, showcasing the kind of consistency and command that coaches dream of. However, his final two outings, a disastrous regular season finale and a rough playoff performance, left a sour taste in Minnesota's mouth. The Vikings, eager for a fresh start, decided to move on. When free agency arrived, Darnold found a new home in Seattle, where he quickly reminded everyone of his talent. Leading the Seahawks to a 5-2 start, he has quietly climbed the league leaderboards, ranking among the top 10 quarterbacks in completion percentage, passing yards, touchdown passes, yards per attempt, and overall passer rating. His resurgence has turned heads across the league, and perhaps stirred a bit of regret back in Minnesota. Meanwhile, Daniel Jones has written his own redemption story. After the Vikings declined to give Danny Dimes a legitimate shot at the starting role, he signed with the Indianapolis Colts and immediately made his mark. Jones outperformed the team's young quarterback, Anthony Richardson, during camp and earned the starting job outright. Since then, the Colts have thrived under his leadership, boasting one of the best records in football at 8-3, while Jones himself has emerged as a legitimate MVP contender. His precision, poise, and ability to extend plays have redefined the perception of his career, proving that he still has plenty left to give. As Whitworth pointed out, watching both Darnold and Jones flourish elsewhere must stir mixed emotions within the Vikings organization. These were two quarterbacks who once shared the same locker room, and now, both are thriving while Minnesota rides the ups and downs of a rookie learning curve. For a franchise that gambled big on potential over experience, the success of their former signal callers serves as both a reminder of what could have been and a challenge to make their current investment pay off. It also makes me think about how, in situations like this, there's always so much more going on behind the scenes than fans realize, the analyst remarked. We never really know the full story, who inside the organization was fighting to keep Sam, and who was ready to move on from him. There are always those internal debates happening in every franchise. His words touched on a truth often overlooked in professional football, that roster decisions aren't always as clear-cut as they appear from the outside. Behind closed doors, front offices weigh countless factors. Contract demands, locker room dynamics, coaching philosophies, and even personal relationships. Sometimes, it isn't just about talent or stats. It's about vision, timing, and differing opinions on what direction a team should take. For the Vikings, that decision to let Darnold walk may have stemmed from a belief in McCarthy's potential, or simply a desire to reset the quarterback position with a younger, cheaper option. But as Darnold thrives elsewhere, those internal discussions, the arguments, the what-ifs, the contrasting perspectives, inevitably come back into focus. The analyst's comment underscored how fragile the balance of decision-making in the NFL can be, where one choice can shape not just a season, but the entire trajectory of a franchise. And now, Whitworth continued, you have to wonder what those internal conversations are like, the ones happening behind closed doors that we, as fans and analysts, will never get to hear. How are those relationships holding up right now? I'm sure there are some real emotions in that building, because at the end of the day, no one there truly knows what J.J. McCarthy is or isn't yet. It's still a gamble, no matter how you look at it. Whitworth's words hit the mark perfectly. He captured the uneasy truth about the Vikings' current quarterback situation. That uncertainty still looms large. Yet, as the saying goes, there's no use crying over spilled milk. Minnesota made its choice, committing to a quarterback room built around McCARTHY, the veteran Carson Wentz, and rookie Max Brosmer. It's the hand they've dealt themselves, and now they have to play it out. To Wentz's credit, he has stepped in admirably during McCarthy's absence, providing much-needed stability and veteran leadership. His experience has kept the offense functioning, even if it lacks the explosiveness fans were hoping for. However, the physical toll of the season is beginning to catch up with him. Injuries are mounting, and questions about his durability are starting to resurface, a familiar concern throughout his career. That leaves the Vikings in a precarious position. If circumstances force Brosmer, the young hometown quarterback, to take the field, the offense could be in serious trouble. While Brosmer shows promise and a solid understanding of the playbook, the leap from practice reps to NFL action is enormous. For a team already walking the fine line between development and desperation, another shakeup under center could turn a season of uncertainty into one of outright chaos.